Warm welcome to everyone. I, Ritika Singh, Assistant Professor Zoology, GDC Boys Kathua, going to present a topic fertilization. So, in this topic, I will cover the definition of fertilization, what is fertilization, then we will discuss about different types of fertilization, and after that, we will discuss about the process of fertilization. So, what fertilization is? Fertilization is the process whereby two gametes, the male gamete or sperm and female gamete, egg or ovum, are specialized sex cell which fuse together to begin the formation of a zygote during a process called sexual reproduction. Or we can say that the union of a haploid male gamete or spermatozoa and a haploid female gamete, or you can say ovum, to form a diploid zygote and initiate development of an offspring is called fertilization. There are so many different definitions given by different scientists. Few of them are as E.V. Wilson defined fertilization as the union of sperm nucleus of paternal origin with an egg nucleus of maternal origin to form the primary nucleus of the embryo. According to Albert Taylor, fertilization is a series of processes by which the spermatozoon initiates and participates in the development of the egg. So, the mechanism of fertilization includes all the processes from the approach of spermatozoon to the fusion of pronuclei of gamete. The process was discovered by Leeuwenhoek in 1683. George Newport observed the process of fertilization of frog's egg, while Oscar Hartwig in 1875 observed the union of nuclei of sperm and ovum during fertilization in sea urchin. The process of fertilization has two independent functions. First is activation and the next is amphimixis. So students, the activation is the first function in which we will discuss 3 to 4 different points. For example, how spermatozoa approach the ovum. Then second, we will talk about the contact of sperm and ovum, in which we will see the capacity of a sperm, how it attach itself with the ovum. Then the next, acrosomal reactions, which is being the part of sperm, and after that we will talk about the cortical reaction, or you can say maturation of an ovum. And in the last, after whole of this process, which is termed as activation, we will come under the process of amphimixis, which is defined as the fusion of pronuclei of male and female. So amphimixis involves fusion of male and female pronuclei so that it restores diploidy, induces genetic variations in the species. Depending upon this, we will first of all discuss the different types of fertilizations. So students, depending upon different things, fertilization types are divided. First of all, we will discuss the type according to place and nature of fluid medium for movement of sperm. Fertilization is of two types. First is external fertilization and next is internal fertilization. In case of external fertilization, as the name indicates, the gametes fuse outside of the body, means ovum and sperm, they show their fusion outside their body of the parents. This type of fertilization occurs in liquid medium outside the body, in marine and freshwater organisms, for example echinoderms, nereis, many bony fishes and frogs. Talking about the internal fertilization is one in which fertilization occurs inside the body of an organism, in which in this form of fertilization, sperms are shed inside the female genital tract by intromittent organ that is copulatory organ of the male. The process of fertilization may occur in the lower part of oviduct for Urodales, and or you can say it will occur in the upper part of oviduct, for example in case of reptiles, birds, mammals, in case of we human beings. So but on the basis of sources of gamete, fertilization is of two types. First, we discuss the fertilization on the basis of medium where they get fused. Now, on the basis of sources of gametes, from where we are getting the gametes, it is of two types. First is endogamy, or you can say self fertilization, in which both the fusing gametes derived from the same parent. So, sexual reproduction is uniparental. For example, in case of Taenia solia, in case of fasciola, etc. When we are talking about the next part, that is exogamy, or you can say cross fertilization, in it when two fusing gametes are derived from the parent, sperm is derived from male parent and ovum is derived from the female parent. So sexual reproduction generally biparental, for example human beings, for frog, etc. It is found in all the unisexual organisms. Even some bisexual organisms also show cross fertilization due to some specific reason. For example, in case of Ferrithema, which is earthworm, and leech, due to protoandrous condition, and in case of Cycon, it is due to protogynous condition. So what do you mean by protoandrous and protogynous? First, protoandrous is a condition in which sperm matures first, and so what protogynous is? Protogynous is one in which the ovum matures first. That is why they sometimes show cross fertilization, bisexual animals. After that, on the basis of nature of fusing gametes, fertilization is of two types, isogamy and anisogamy. In isogamy, the two fusing gametes are morphologically and physiologically similar, means they are having the same shape and size. For example, in case of monocystis, and in case of anisogamy, the two gametes are morphologically and physiologically different. For example, in case of human beings and frog. On the basis of number of sperm entering the above, fertilization is of two types. It is ovum. Fertilization is of two types, monospermy and polyspermy. Monospermy is one in which only one sperm enters and fuses with the ovum. It is found in most of the animals. In case of polyspermy, many sperm penetrate the ovum. It may be pathologically polyspermy or physiologically polyspermy, but always one sperm fuses with the ovum while other pronuclei degenerate before initiation of cleavage. Now, we had discussed the different types of fertilization. Now we are going to talk about the process of fertilization, how it actually occurs, how many steps involved in the process of fertilization. Firstly, we know two important parts. First is activation and another is amphimixis. So one by one we will discuss whole of those things. Human fertilization is the union of human egg and sperm, usually occurring in the ampulla of the fallopian tube. The result of this union is the production of zygote cell or fertilized egg, initiating prenatal development. Scientists discovered the dynamics of human fertilization in the 19th century. The process of fertilization involves a sperm fusing with an ovum. The most common sequence begins with ejaculation during copulation, follows with ovulation, and finishes with fertilization. Various expectations to these consequences are possible, including artificial insemination, in vitro fertilization, external ejaculation without copulation, or copulation shortly after ovulation upon encountering the secondary oocyte. The acrosome of the sperm produces enzymes which allow it to burrow through the outer jelly coat of the egg. The sperm plasma then fuses with the egg's plasma membrane, triggering the sperm head to disconnect from its flagellum as the egg travels down the fallopian tube to reach the uterus. An important point to remember is that fertilization is species specific, in the sense that sperm from one species cannot fertilize the egg of another species. This is the main reason for the stability of the species. So, basic requirement for fertilization. What are the needs required for a fertilization? In most animals, fertilization requires a fluid medium, which may be seawater, fresh water, or body fluid in viviparous animals. Lifespan of gametes are limited. Mature eggs quickly become overripe as they must be activated promptly if they are to be activated at all. Eggs that are shed into the water, like those of most fishes, amphibians, must be fertilized immediately or within few minutes. Eggs that are fertilized within the body of female generally have a longer lifespan. For example, human egg can be fertilized for at least 24 hours after ovulation. Sperms are also short-lived, but there are more exceptions to the rule in nature. In bat, viable sperm may persist in the female reproductive tract over the winter during hibernation. Further, the lifetime of human sperm in female tract is of order of 24 hours. To increase the probability of fertilization, the number of sperm must exceed the number of eggs. So you get it, probability, if you want that fertilization should have to occur, the number of sperm must be exceeded the number of eggs. The foolproof method that will allow the perfect union of one egg and one sperm without wasting millions of sperm has not been devised. Thus, in mammals, a single ejaculation may have 6 million sperms per microliter. In man, the ejaculate average 3 milliliter, of which 20% by volume is sperm, 1 lakh cells per microliter. So, students, let us discuss the process of fertilization in the following steps. First, these are the steps which are under activation: approach of spermatozoa to ovum, capacitation and contact of sperm and ovum, acrosomal reaction and entry of sperm, activation of ovum, or you can say cortical reaction or egg reaction, and in the last, which is fifth one, is amphimixis. So in first part we will discuss how they get closer to each other, how male and female gametes get close contact of each other. For example, we have studied about the external fertilization and internal fertilization. We see in case of external fertilization there is a liquid medium, and in case of internal fertilization you will find some intermittent organ which will help in depositing of sperm into the body of a female. And then capacitation comes next step. In case of capacitation, you will come to know how sperm will get into the sperm onto the ovum. So there is fertilization, anti-fertilization protein which will acting as a lock and key method, and after that there are acrosomal reactions. Acrosome is a part of sperm from which hyaluronidase enzymes came out, and which will proteolytic enzyme which dissolve the wall of ovum, and from where it get entry inside the ovum. And after that there is a activation of ovum. Once sperm get attached with it, hyaluronidase or you can say proteolytic enzymes start working over there, then egg shows its reaction, ovum shows its reaction, and these reactions are known as cortical reactions. This is the formation of a fertilization cone from where sperms can enter inside the ovum. We will discuss everything in that. So all these steps are coming under the part of activation, which we have discussed earlier. And after that, the last important part is amphimixis, in which you will see male and female pronuclei fused together, which leads to formation of a diploid zygote. First of all, then, Approach of spermatozoon to ovum. It is important that mature ova and sperm be brought together in the same general locality and that individual sperm may reach the surface of ova. In general, most vertebrates accomplish the close approximation of spermatozoon and egg through special devices or particular form of behavior. According to place, nature, fluid media fall into two kind of fertilization have been reported: external and internal, that we have already discussed. This is external fertilization. How it occurs you will know in this slide. Then this is external fertilization, how male waits to spread sperm over the egg. Female fish lays its egg, you can say ovulate its egg outside the body, then it give out its sperm over it and they get fused outside the body. Look at this. In case of frog, the process of cross fertilization is also known as amplexus, in which anybody can see that they are doing some sort of internal fertilization, but no, they went for external fertilization and the process is known as amplexus. And look at this external fertilization, the gametes are released outside by the male and female and they fuse outside the body to form the zygote. First picture, second picture, ova, sperm. Okay, this is about fresh water. Then internal fertilization, you all know there is some sort of intromittent organ which shed the sperms inside the body of a female, inside the genital tract of female, from where they went up in the ovum and fusion will occur there only. So copulatory organ or intromittent organ are there. These intromittent organ may be claspers for shark, hemipenis of lizards and penis in mammals. Delivery of sperms into female body occur during the process of sexual embryos called copulation or mating. In such forms, the fertilization may occur at different regions of female genital tract. Look at this. These are the intromittent organ. This is in case of squirrel. This is in case of lizard, hemipenis. Okay. So we have already discussed that it may be in the lower portion of oviduct or it may be in the upper portion of oviduct or in ovarian follicles. On land, terrestrial, there is no problem of timing and all. You all know there is a need of water, some liquid medium for the process of fertilization. We have discussed in the requirements. So whenever either it is external or internal fertilization, there should be a watery medium or liquid medium from where sperms went inside the body of a female. Sperms are stored either in moisture conserving capsules or in compartment of the male or female body to be picked up and transferred utilized in one way or another. So students, this is all about the first point, that is approach of spermatozoa to ovum. Activation of sperm motility, attraction of sperm to the egg. So how they do it, then how after these things, after everything, every sort of closure contact of ovum and sperm, what will happen? Right now this sperm is in the tract of, that is genital tract of female, but after that there should be some activation of acrosome, activation of ovum sort. So after that first step initiate, that is activation of sperm motility, how it will move, and attraction of sperm to the ova, and how sperm will move towards the ova. So we will discuss it under the heading capacitation and contact of sperm and ovum. Okay, so look at this. First of all, activation of sperm motility. Spermatozoa remain immotile in testes or semen but become motile when shed near the ova. In mammals, the ejaculation of semen into the female reproductive tract triggers motility of spermatozoa. Contraction of the female reproductive tract help to conduct spermatozoa to the site of fertilization in the oviduct. Motility of sperms increase as they approach the egg. Attraction of sperm to the egg. Some animals have evolved mechanism called chemotaxis that enables spermatozoa to locate the egg. Chemotaxis is the movement of cell toward a chemical substance produced by the another cell. The eggs of fishes have around them chorion, having a micropyle for sperm entry. In fish egg, chemicals present near the micropyle attract the sperm. Spermatozoa swim rapidly about the micropyle, and more active sperm passes through the micropyle, comes in contact with the extension of egg cytoplasm protruding into the micropyle. Male produces spermatozoa in very large number to ensure that at least few will reach the egg. Then entry of spermatozoa into the ovum. Entry of spermatozoa into the ovum involves two events, that is capacitation and another is acrosomal reaction. So let us discuss it. In mammals, normally ejaculated sperms do not show acrosome reaction unless they have been some time in the genital tract. On that time they are in the process of what? Approximation of male and female gamete. Okay, up to that there is no formation of any acrosomal reaction or else. So this time span varies with the species and physiologically conditions of the female. It is more than 1 hour in the mouse, 2 to 4 hours in rat, 6 hours in rabbit, man, and so. During this time, probably the coating substances on the sperm surface, particularly those on the acrosome, are gradually removed. The receptor sites on the acrosome are thus exposed to enable the sperm to recognize signals emanating from the ovulated egg. This is called as capacitation. The factors that induce capacitation in the female genital tract do not appear to be strictly species specific. Okay, this is acrosome reaction. You see that proteolytic enzymes, this and that. Significance of capacitation. According to Guyton, the process of capacitation of human beings and other mammals result from the following effects and has the following significance. The acrosome of human sperm contain extremely powerful hydrolytic proteolytic enzyme that could literally destroy the male genital tract if all the sperm should release these enzymes prematurely. Fortunately, the fluids in seminiferous tubules in epididymis and in the vas deferens all contain minute floating vesicles filled with large amount of cholesterol. This cholesterol is continually donated to the cellular membrane, covering the acrosome, toughening the membrane and preventing the release of enzyme. After ejaculation, the sperm swim away from vesicle and gradually lose their excess cholesterol during next few hours. In so doing, they became capacitated so that acrosome now release the enzyme that allow a sperm to enter the ovum. Look at this. This is just a small diagram showing the fertilization process. Firstly, this sperm are in their tract, genital tract. After that, here acrosomal reaction occur, and after that you will see there is a formation of a fertilization cone, and this sperm then releases its flagella outside the body, and the sperm's nucleus get inside the ovum. This is actually whole process of fertilization showing in a diagram. This is the diagram of a sperm, nuclear, this is acrosome, mitochondria, middle piece, then this is tail. Acrosomal reaction and entry of the sperm. What happened now, you will see in mammals, zona pellucida, which triggers acrosomal reaction, occurs when sperm came in contact with the corona radiata of oocyte. The outer acrosome membrane and plasma membrane surrounding it break down into vesicles that disappear. The inner acrosomal membrane reverses its orientation and becomes plasma membrane in acrosomal reaction. This releases the soluble acrosomal enzyme called lysins. The lysins include hyaluronidase and corona penetrating enzymes. Hyaluronidase hydrolyzes the hyaluronic acid The cell surface polysaccharide, the corona penetrating enzymes, dissolves the glue fixing the corona radiata cells. Some workers hold that sperm passes through the zona pellucida by propulsive forces of its swimming, whereas others think that sperm digests its way through zona pellucida with protease enzyme acrosine coming on the sperm head with the inversion of inner acrosomal membrane. Penetration of zona pellucida around the oocyte may be aided by acrosomal enzyme esterase and neuraminidase. The zona pellucida also checks interspecific fertilization in mammals. It contains species-specific receptors that mediate sperm-egg binding. An influx of calcium into sperm is required to initiate the acrosome reaction in mammals. Look at this diagram. It is the stages of sperm entry into ovum during fertilization, as in this diagram. This, okay. Now activation of ovum. Firstly, you see that acrosomal reactions are happening, hyaluronidase is coming out, that acrosine proteolytic enzymes are there, so many other things are happening. So in turn, as you know, there is equal and opposite reaction to every action, है ना? So likewise, when acrosomal reaction is happening, then activation of ovum, or you can say cortical reactions are happening along the ovum. So the fourth step, activation of ovum or egg reaction or cortical reactions are there. When sperm has penetrated the egg coats, its plasma membrane fuse with the plasma membrane of the egg. Fusion makes the plasma membrane of two gametes continuous and forming a cytoplasmic bridge for the entry of sperm into the egg. Usually the head of the sperm enters the egg. The plasma membrane of the sperm is incorporated into the plasma membrane of the egg. A projection of the egg cytoplasm called fertilization or reception cone grows around the sperm nucleus and finally engulfs the whole sperm. What I told you earlier, that there is a formation of a fertilization cone when two plasmas are joining together. After that they make a cone like structure which is known as fertilization cone, from where sperm will move inside the ovum. The microfilaments in the fertilization cone draw the sperm into the egg by their contraction. The life of sperm, the time of sperm entry into an egg varies in different animals. A spermatozoon may enter a mature or an immature egg. If it enters an immature egg, it does not move toward the egg nucleus until the egg nucleus completes second meiotic division. So student, it is very important to know that only if there is a second meiotic division, then only there should be a fertilization, you can say fusion of two pronuclei, otherwise it will never happen. So if it enters in an immature egg, it does not move toward the egg nucleus until and unless egg nucleus completes its second meiotic division. It is a very important point to be noted. Look at this. These are the diagrams showing the movement of sperm entry into the ovum. Now polyspermy is there, monospermy is there. I have already told you what polyspermy is, when many of the sperm going together and they had to fertilize the egg, but only one sperm will had the luck to fuse the ovum. Many sperm may penetrate that, but usually one sperm enter and fertilize the egg. This is called monospermy. Entrance of more than one sperm leads to formation of triploid, tetraploid zygote which died due to abnormal cell division. So polyspermy is normal affair in case with large amount of eggs such as hen's egg. Here the entry of cell ensure at least one male pronucleus join the female pronucleus. The normal polyspermy in these animals is known as physiological polyspermy. Look at this. This is a single egg and having a lot of number of sperms attaching it. Okay, this is known as polyspermy. Now what it is showing you, this is the mechanism of first block of polyspermy, because we need it, because if there is polyspermy, there is a formation of triploid or tetraploid which is actually a diseased condition for our children, or you can say for anyone who is having the diploid or tetraploid or any type of zygote. So this is fast block system. Look at this, how sperm binding and fusion of egg cell membrane is happening, sodium influx is there, then fast block happened there. This is slow blocking, in which there's a restoration of meiotic cell cycle, then membrane biosynthesis, slow block to polyspermy, formation of hyaline layer, stimulation of protein synthesis, DNA replication, cytoplasmic movement of morphogenetic material. Then last, your amphimixis. Amphimixis is the part where the two pronuclei, now what you see, everything is happened. Sperm has take the entry into the ovum. Now there's a pronuclei of female and pronuclei of male gametes, and now they will fuse together to form a diploid zygote. Okay, nucleus fusion of sperm and egg only initiate the process of fertilization, which is completed by fusion of sperm and egg pronuclei. Pronuclear fusion occurs about 10 to 20 minutes after the sperm attaches the egg. Mammals do not form a synchorion by pronuclear fusion. In them, synchorion is formed by approximation, a process in which male and female pronuclei migrate toward one another, become closely opposed but do not fuse. Spindle appears between the centrioles already present in the egg. Astral rays also appear around the centrioles. The pronuclear envelopes break down. The haploid maternal and paternal chromosomes intermingle at the metaphase plate. This restores the diploid number of chromosomes and egg becomes a zygote at this time. This is fertilization. No nuclear envelope is formed around the diploid chromosome because they immediately appear as double, each consisting of two chromatids held together at centromere, preparatory for first cleavage. After this cleavage, nuclear envelope is formed around the chromosome of each daughter nucleus. In a mature egg, the male pronucleus immediately moves towards the egg pronucleus. If the egg is immature, the male pronucleus stays near the site of its entry until meiosis is completed, that is second meiotic division. I have already told you. Presence of male pronucleus in some way stimulates the arrested meiosis to completion. Each individual receives exactly half of its chromosomes and hence half of its genes from mother and half from father. So student, this completes the process of fertilization. And after this, what is the significance of fertilization? It provides stimulus for the eggs to complete its maturation if the egg has not yet completed the second meiotic division. It activates the ovum to develop into a new individual by repeated mitotic divisions. The development of an offspring from the zygote is called sexual reproduction. Rather is said to be biparental in case of cross fertilization and monoparental in case of self-fertilization. In a mature unfertilized egg, DNA synthesis and cell division are arrested. Fertilization causes the zygote to re-enter the cell cycle. Fertilization restores the diploid number. It may introduce centriole, which may be lacking in mature egg. It causes rearrangement of various organ forming substances. It makes egg more active metabolically. Fertilization combines character of two parents. This introduces variation which make offspring better equipped for struggle of existence and contribute to the evolution of race. This happens only in case of cross fertilization, which is therefore superior to self fertilization and is more common in animals. Fertilization determines the sex of the young one to be developed from zygote in some animals. Fertilization membrane formed after sperm entry checks the entry of additional sperm, means blocks polyspermy. Okay, this is all about the significances of fertilization. Thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you. Best wishes, students.